Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is Straight Outta Boston here, and today I'm back for episode number 4 of my Road to the Show series here on MLB 17 The Show. So today we are back, episode 4. As I said, the last couple episodes have been more real-life MLB talk, which is certainly something I'm going to feature a lot of in this series. One of the reasons I wanted to start another Road to the Show series was to make some more MLB talk videos, because I do like kind of just rambling and ranting with my thoughts on some of the bigger stories in baseball occasionally in a video, and Road to the Show I think is a pretty good outlet for that. But that is not what this video is going to be about, because I haven't really had the chance to talk about my player really yet in this series. I talked about him a little bit in episode 1, but I want to continue to detail what kind of player I'm trying to mold him into, and also talk a little bit about the positional switch, which our manager actually kind of thrust upon us in the last episode. And I decided not to put up a fight. He wanted to test me out at second base a little bit. We have a couple good shortstops in the organization in Franklin Barreto and Jorge Mateo, who were acquired in the Josh Donaldson and Sonny Gray trades. So those guys have secondary positions at second base, and Mateo can actually play center field as well. I think Barreto can even play center field too. So I certainly would prefer it if those guys were moved off the positions, maybe moved to second base and center field, and I stayed at shortstop, because, as a player, you are inherently so much more valuable as a shortstop. And, second base and center field are sort of comparable positions with the bat as a shortstop, but if you are a decent hitter as a shortstop, it's so much more valuable than being a decent hitter as a corner guy like at third base or first base, or left field, right field. So because of that, I do want to stay at a position like shortstop, where the defensive value is so important. But the thing about this A's organization is they don't really have many good positional playing prospects aside from Barreto and Mateo. So really, no matter what position we get moved to, we're not really going to be blocked by anyone too established. I'm not sure if Yonder Alonso is still. I guess he would still be on the A's in this. He got traded, of course, to the Mariners in real life, but that trade happened after the deadline, and I think these rosters that I used only had the transactions up through July 31st, so we probably still have Yonder Alonso, but even he is a free agent at the end of the year and likely could not be back on the team. So that is the thing about this Oakland A's team, and that's why I was initially not too excited to get drafted by them. But also, take a look at this hilarious. I don't know what he's doing there. At first I kind of thought he was blowing a kiss at the third base coach, but the new home run celebrations they added in this game I think are pretty funny. I was switching them around. I think I switched it to like generic home run celebration 2 later in the video, and he starts doing some other kind of crazy things while he's trotting around the bases after hitting bombs. But either way, I think those are pretty funny. But back to what I was saying about Oakland is I wasn't too excited because, obviously this is a team that doesn't really have that great of a future, I don't think, at least not as of established right now. I mean, Billy Beane, he had some interesting comments, and he said that, maybe when they get a new ballpark, they're going to be able to start re-signing some of their free agents instead of always trading guys like Josh Donaldson, Yonder Alonso, etc., and Sonny Gray too. But, we will see if that happens. Until then, they haven't really built a good farm system for a number of years now. They had some, they had a handful of guys kind of come up in the early 2010s, like in that 2012 team, 2013 team. They had some homegrown guys coming up like Sonny Gray, like Josh Donaldson, guys like who they traded for, like Josh Reddick, and Donaldson was also traded for. But some guys they developed, and then you go back 10 years before that, they had pretty good success drafting guys like Nick Swisher, getting guys like Tim Hudson, Mark Mulder, Barry Zito. So they've done it in the past before, but they don't really have that sort of setup right now. So that's why I'm not really too excited or encouraged by the future of this team in this Road to the Show series. But the Major League team hasn't been doing too poorly at the in this season 1 so far. I think they are hovering around like 5 games under 500 or something like that. But getting back to playing second base, I wasn't too surprised to see that we had gotten moved off, because I had actually been struggling a little bit. I haven't played as an infielder in a couple years, and the defensive controls are a little bit different than they used to be, so especially with some of the Showtime animations and stuff. But starting to get used to it a little bit more as a second baseman. I don't really think arm strength is going to be a problem. Like, the main thing you think of when you move a shortstop to second base is arm strength, but I guess even if he is a defensive liability, you're probably going to get less chances as a second baseman than a shortstop, so I can sort of see that being another reason. But either way, we're continuing to make the plays there. We set up a double play, only got a walk. That was the only time I got on base in that game. And then we do get called into the manager's office, and he actually lets us know that we're going to be moving back to shortstop. Does mention the fact that Schaffer is versatile and can play all 4 infield positions as a bonus to him, but says that, I don't know, I guess the trial run at second base wasn't good enough, or I don't know why. Ultimately, they didn't really give a concrete answer as to why we got moved back to shortstop, but they offered us some more. They offered Schaffer some more guidance from the bench coach there, so I decided to take it up, show that I'm serious about wanting to get better at shortstop and being a shortstop long term, and you can see I'm back at shortstop this game, and showing off the arm strength here, because I'm going to turn the 3-6-3 double play right there. Nicely done by the first baseman getting back to first, and you can see I've got the new batting stance in this now. I changed it up to Bill Hall's old batting stance, which is generic stance 106 for those who want to replicate it, but it kind of gets back into the kind of player I'm trying to model Schaffer after, and not necessarily Bill Hall as a player, but I always liked Bill Hall's like massive swing he had, and he kind of, you know, he sort of didn't really have as big of an uppercut maybe as you see some guys like Cody Bellinger and even like Aaron Judge now having, or Justin Turner, guys who are really trying to get lift on the ball, get the ball in the air. And that's kind of what I want Schaffer to be. I sort of want him to be that modern-day shortstop, guy who hits a ton of fly balls, try to hit for some power, and that's sort of what he was in my OOTP save. You know, he had that 40 home run year. I think he had 411 career home runs in his like 18-year career in my OOTP save. So I kind of want him to be that sort of player, even as a shortstop, although you don't typically see shortstops hitting 40 home runs. You do see, you know, guys like Troy Tulowitzki, Carlos Correa, Trevor Story. We have seen shortstops hit for power in the past. Alex Rodriguez, Cal Ripken Jr. And Bill Hall, although, you know, he wasn't a huge power hitter in his day, he did have 130 home run season, and I think he had 125 career home runs. And like I said, he always had that massive swing. I don't know, I was thinking back to it. I was looking through the generic stances on the Operation Sports forum for MLB 17, the show, and I saw Bill Hall's name on there, and I thought, man, he is so perfect. He had that big leg kick, and then, you know, you can sort of see the uppercut. It's not as big of an uppercut as, like I said, you see with some of the guys in the league now, but same sort of idea, trying to hit the ball as far as possible, go for extra base hits, and I started hitting the ball pretty well with his stance. Actually, you're going to see in the second half of this video, especially against this pitcher for, I think this is the Northwest Arkansas team, and the Northwest Arkansas team is really, really bad in this season number 1. We were playing the Arkansas Travelers, but this is like the Northwest Arkansas Naturals or something. And yeah, they were pretty bad. And this pitcher, I was just tearing the cover off the ball against. I had an extra base hit against him earlier. There's a bomb, jumping up with the third base coach right there, getting applause from my manager. And my 11th home run now, starting to really tear the cover off the ball in Double-A. And at this point, I'm starting to wonder, you know, when am I going to get called up? Because I've been dominating Double-A for about a month and a half, close to 2 months now, and the sample is getting pretty large. Even though I only was hitting about 333 as opposed to hitting in the 400s in the month of April, I was hitting about 330 in the month of May for a good portion of it, so kind of tapered off a little bit, but I'm wondering more and more about when I'm going to get called up, and then I get contacted by this agent who actually tried to get to me back during the rookie showcase before I got drafted, and I ended up not really being too interested at the time, but I'm thinking now maybe this guy can help me you know, maybe leverage the A's front office a little bit, try to get me called up a little bit sooner, because my current advisor from high school doesn't really seem to be doing, or getting the job done, I should say, and now I'm really torching the ball. You can see me bat flipping, completely disrespecting the Arkansas Travelers here, as I'm bat flipping right in front of home plate, fist pumping my way before I even get to second base, hopping up and down, just completely disrespecting these guys, and they just can't do anything about it, because quite frankly, I'm just too good right now. It's my 12th home run of the season, and I think it's like my 5th or 6th home run of the episode. I'm pretty sure I only had 6 home runs coming into this episode, and I think I've matched that with the 6 in this episode alone. You can, I mean, look at this. I'm literally pointing and laughing at the pitcher with my teammate Peter Alonso right there. So just, you know, all the different levels of disrespect. But a couple unexciting games there, or another unexciting game against Arkansas in the next one. But here we go. I'm getting another pitch to hit. And yeah, that's another home run, another disrespectful bat flip, making the starting pitcher swear into his glove right there, over the batter's eye out there in center field. And now I'm doing 360s, 720s, walking around the bases. This guy's just disgusted with himself, letting me disrespect the entire state of Arkansas for the second time in 3 nights. And I know we're playing in Midland at home, but I'm sure the home fans back in Arkansas can just feel the disrespect permeating through their television screens. And you can see me there finally accepting, or I don't know, I guess just finally hooking up with the agent officially after I let my old advisor vet him. But now I'm thinking, all right, I got this guy on my team. Maybe I can expect a call-up coming up soon, at least to AAA, I would think. I mean, the way I've been dominating AA, I think really from day one, I established that I was a little bit too advanced for this level, and you certainly see that in my overall rating, since I'm already in the mid to upper 70s, thanks to the training points and the road to the show, the game breaker I used, and the stubs that I invested into Schaffer, trying to get him MLB ready as soon as possible coming out of college as a 4-year player. And here we go, facing the Northwest Arkansas team once again, and I mean, continuing to just, like I said, the entire state of Arkansas. I pretty much own that state at this point, because neither of their baseball teams can really do anything to get me out. I'm getting another extra base hit right there. Schaffer now just looking so comfortable in the box with that new stance. Not a lot of movement, but the huge leg kick, and then turns the hips and the hands so quickly, jumping all over that pitch, and then just mashing it with the power swing. I don't usually like to use the power swing too much, but when I slow it down there with the Showtime feature that they have in this game, and I think they had it in last year's game too, but I never really used a hitter in last year's game. I was always the pitcher Jim Lowry, but in this year's game, it's effective to use as a hitter, obviously slowing it down. Now I used to do it in my first at-bat of every game. Now I try to save it for like a big spot later in the game where there might be multiple guys on, and I can get a big extra base hit, try to drive in a couple of runs. But anyway, I get called into the manager's office once again. I'm thinking, oh no, where are they gonna move me now? Is it gonna be left field? But it does seem that I'm getting the good news. I have been called up, and I have kind of a funny response here, thinking that, maybe I wouldn't even be ready for AAA yet, but the manager tells me I've gotten called all the way up to the major leagues. The Oakland A's want me to step in as a shortstop on their team. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to be the starter, but they certainly want me on the 25-man roster. There you see it. We've been called up to the big league club, and 27-31, not terrible so far this year. Not completely out of the playoff race. We'll see if maybe we can spark them, a la Cody Bellinger, Yasiel Puig, Rafael Devers, Manny Machado kind of thing. See what we can do as a rookie, maybe propel this team to a playoff spot. But we will see in the coming episodes. Until then, that's going to do it. Hope you guys enjoy. Thanks for watching, and as always, I am out. Peace.